yeah, baby. Keep in it. Stay in it. Stay in it, baby. Hell yeah. GX.
Oh! Oh! Woo!
Hello and welcome to another out of spec overlanding video. You join us with our Lexus GX build, Tijmen's car, where we're actually on the shakedown run, overlanding this thing and a little bit of gnarly off-roading with some ice and snow up here on the Ironclads Trail just outside of Boulder, Colorado. So join us for a little shakedown drive. We're going to tell you about some of the modifications that Tijmen's made to this vehicle. We're going to send it really hard up a little too hard up some trails. It's going to be a blast. We have a nice little crew here with Tacomas and Jeeps and other stuff coming up the hill now. And join us for a little shakedown adventure up here in the hills. Really?
On a turn, the snow drift is so much. And the whole turn on the one side with
All right, Tijmen, you got to tell us. We haven't introduced your car to the channel, so let's talk about it.
So this is a 04 GX470 that I bought with
We got a Tacoma ripping it up here. Hell yeah.
It's got 213,000 miles, but it's got one owner, so that just made it perfect, basically.
Yeah.
It was owned in Louisiana, so no rust at all.
You actually have the original window sticker and temporary registration plate when it was new.
Yeah.
A one-owner car, right?
Yeah, and full service history, I've got it all.
That's amazing. So let's take a quick walk around. Show us some of the stuff, because it's fully optioned, too. It's got the third row seats. Can you open up the back? They're not in there right now,
Yeah,
but it has the mounting for them.
Yeah.
So how much you pay for this thing, by the way?
$11,500.
$11,500. And by the way, it's for sale to any of you for about 50 grand, because
Exactly.
Tijmen's owned it.
Exactly. So here's where the seats go on either side. They just go in and fold
neat.
out.
And you even got cup holders back there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you get the cup holders if you don't option the seats?
No idea.
Okay. so it's an 04 GX470.
Correct.
They also made a GX460
Yeah, but
afterwards.
that's newer years.
Right, so that was the smaller engine.
Right, I think from 2010 to current.
And why did you go for an 04 specifically?
It's cheaper.
Cheaper. But I mean, it seems to be really good. So in terms of how you bought it, you actually bought it. So our friend Matthew sells these. If you want a GX, we know the GX guy.
The guy.
Yeah.
So I bought it from him with
4th Avenue Auto Sales, baby.
Yep.
He's got like a million of these.
Yeah. I bought it from him with Chinese 33-inch tires with inch or an inch and a half risers,
Which he did to market the vehicle for sale. Yep.
so it could clear the.
But it was
33.
stock in its first ownership.
Yep. And then 2 days ago, I put in a Dobinson lift kit that's 3 inches in total with a level ride height, and I mean, it's doing well so far.
So let's explore this lift kit a little bit. So this is obviously the car came factory with the rear, first off, adaptive damper, and also airbags in the rear, but the front was solid. It was steel suspension.
Right.
And why didn't you like it?
It had 200,000 miles on it.
Was it leaking? It worked fine,
No,
though.
it was fine, but I just didn't trust it going off road with an airbag.
Yeah. Sure, you lose one of those and you start squatting and you're screwed.
You get stuck everywhere.
So let's talk about the rear suspension setup. So the suspension that you installed here, can you go in and kind of show us and tell us?
Here's the shock that just replaced the factory shock, basically.
Yeah.
But if you come under here, you can see a spring,
Yeah.
and that's where the airbag used to be.
So the spring replaces the airbag.
Right.
And we've noticed, because this was the shakedown drive, we literally took it out for the first time. It's way stiffer.
Yeah, I think the spring still have to settle a bit, but it feels more planted. It's less body shake on the highway at 70 miles an hour.
It's almost sportier.
Yeah, race car.
Race car. But we've just been pounding it around some roads, which we'll show you later in this video up here in Ironclads. I mean, you slammed this thing into a rock at like 6,000 RPM, and it took it.
Yeah, we don't know yet if anything's broken, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So what about the front? So how did this work?
So you can probably see from over here,
Okay.
kind of right here, it just replaced the entire shock assembly with the spring.
And so your dampers before were adaptive?
Yeah, so you could change inside the car. I can actually show you.
Yeah. in here. Yeah,
Yeah.
here, you can grab the camera.
Right here, you can select your rear ride height to if you wanted to squat it, like in Carolina. Yee. And then up here, you can see you can switch to sport and comfort.
Proper.
Yep.
And so did you have to unplug the dampers then? Here, yeah, we'll flip it.
I pulled 3 fuses and she's fine.
So 3 fuses, no warning codes, nothing.
Nope.
And it just was totally cool with that.
Yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, what do you say we get this thing out on some trails, we shake it down, we'll talk about what we think about the suspension upgrades afterwards, and just be a quick little fun day trip with some buddies up here in the mountains.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, oh, oh.
Direct them towards you.
Oh! Oh!
And here's some of our group. We got a JL with the 3.6 in it. Really nice. Lady driven. Gotta love that. First gen Tundra here. Sounds awesome. Got the newer wheels on it. Looks good. And yeah, this thing open diffs, just working its way up to every Tacoma you can imagine. That's just Colorado. Everyone has Tacomas, and there's a reason for it. They're just awesome. They're rock solid, reliable. Tons of aftermarket support, great modifications. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tacomas up here, all modded in their own way. This one over here is the most interesting because it actually has a long bed, which is such an interesting choice to go off-roading. But it's a, you know, TRD 4x4 off-road pack with with the longer bed. You can see the difference here, long bed versus some of the shorter ones. That's pretty sweet. And then of course we have Tijmen's GX here, which we're about to go take out on the trails. Yeah, keep it going. Hard throttle, baby. Hard throttle. There we go. Hell yeah.
Go. Find the grip. Find the grip.
Yeah. Hell yeah, baby. Keep in it. Stay in it. Stay in it, baby. Hell yeah. GX. Yeah, get the fuck out of the way.
Oh! It's something.
Hell yeah.
The side airbags, if you get too much lean, they explode.
So there's an override
Yeah,
switch.
there's a button right here that it just turns it off right in here.
RSCA. Toyota's great with the acronyms. Everything, especially in the new ones with the lane centerings. LKA, AD, something or other. It's crazy. So, how's the handbrake holding up on this thing?
You gotta pull it all the way up. Almost pulling this thing out.
You might
the
need
center
to,
console out.
yeah, you might need to re-tighten that.
Yeah, probably.
Well, let's head up some trails.
I don't have power steering.
No power steering.
Nope.
Well, we heard,
Well, no.
it might just have gotten hot,
Yeah.
and your revs are low too. So, if you hit the throttle a little bit, does it come back? How's it feeling?
We've got some power steering.
All right.
I think it's a little hot.
Yeah, that's because we were really working it back there on some of those rocks. May just want to cruise for a bit, but yeah, let's go down the trail in the GX. We got the heater on. We're at 9,000 feet of elevation. Got some snow. What kind of tires are on this thing?
Chinese Fortune something.
Mud
All-terrains.
Mud all-terrains. And we got Jordan with us and Drew.
Comfy.
Comfy. It is luxurious off-roading. Yeah, that'll help it cool down.
Yep. Just trying to make sure it's there.
So here comes the GX down, new lift. Want to make sure everything's bolted up. On the drive over, it felt good. I can already see his hood isn't fully latched. We can fix that later. Well, let's make sure everything's bolted down in there. Nothing sounds loose. Looking good. Yeah, I'd say, well, good flex on the rear too. Check that out. That's awesome. That's looking like a pretty good suspension system to me. All right, Tijmen, we need a situation update here.
I have absolutely no power steering.
So maybe it didn't need to cool down. Maybe we broke something.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's an optional extra in some cars, so.
God.
Whoa!
That's a little uncomfortable.
You're gonna have some muscles by the end of this. All right, we're gonna test some of the downhill speed progress control. So it has one of the, it's called DAC, I think. And so Tijmen's basically letting her roll down, and it's gonna be working the braking system. At this point though, he has no ABS. Or I should say power steering. So let's see if he can turn it. I think you're good, actually. That sounded a little loose. Yeah, like nothing. Awesome. Yeah, you're gonna walk it down real slow, Tijmen. You gotta go way slow. Hold on, hold on. How can you go any farther? So basically, wait 1 second. If you come down at an angle, you're coming way down here, just so you know.
So should I reverse?
Reverse and go as far that way as you can.
Articulated.
You got like an inch under it. Yeah, go forwards. Forwards, don't brake. That was just the trailer hitch. And guys, we're up here with a group, but one of the things I always try and stress is leave space between you and the car behind. What happened here is this Tacoma was either slipping on ice or followed too closely and completely bent up the front of it. I don't want to add to another person in the situation, but I'll get some video later. But when you're out here on the trails, no need to follow close, leave space. You can see it's kind of bent up, this one up here in the corner right there. Yep, always leave space, and especially with icy conditions, can't always stop in time.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to also. Yeah.
So what happened is, I guess he put it in park to get out to go help this guy's spot. Truck didn't get into park. He was in between the door and the tree getting out, and it smashed him in the door. So he got squished pretty bad, actually. And he was on the other side of that dent. So yeah, always be careful. Never try and jump back in the truck if it's going. That's crazy. Here's some of the other damage. This truck fared wonderfully. Good thing it had the trailer hitch, because that's really not too bad. Max cooling mod, baby. Well, guys, how do you think the GX fared today?
As far as me and Drew are concerned, we're just driving around the Hamptons back here. It's
Yeah.
comfortable.
Cruising in the Hamptons, meanwhile. Yeah, Tijmen, you look like you're really fighting that wheel there.
Yeah, absolutely no power steering.
Yeah, so the power steering's gone. We gave it plenty of cool down time. So that'll be an upcoming episode. How do we fix the GX? But your suspension's insane. Yeah,
I think it broke in.
We're using the downhill control. That's what you hear in the back, pulsing the brakes.
Yeah, I'm not even touching anything. It's doing all of it.
Yeah, every time it does it, it flashes the traction control light. It's this little DAC situation here. Low range, first gear. Man, this thing's a beast.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us on a trail. We've learned, always set your parking brake.
Yep.
Never try and catch your truck after it starts
to
roll.
roll.
And then, didn't he almost flip it right after that?
Yep.
Okay, so
Pick
yeah,
your line
then pick
correctly.
your line correctly. I even offered, like, dude, do you want to just, like, I can drive your truck down if you
Yeah,
feel
I
like
also
hurt.
said take the other line, which is a lot easier. But I guess once you crash
That
your
would have
front
been
end, it doesn't matter.
such a bad situation if he had ended up on his roof after that.
Yeah, I think he would have just walked home at that
Yeah,
point.
but moral of the story is
Buy a
you bought,
GX.
well, yeah, but moral of the story for this video is you bought a GX, and you'll
It
see plenty.
shreds.
Yeah, it shreds, and you'll see plenty of videos throughout the build process here on Out of Spec Overlanding. Nice work driving. You really sent it harder than anyone. It was great. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.